if you go to YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't talk yet, should I? Hold on. I'll tell you in a second. Now I get to say what I want to say. If you go to YouTube and you put in the name Carol Ann Baldwin, you are going to see a gazillion videos. I counted, I think 8 zeros. So I don't know if that's a gazillion or not. I'm just teasing. Anyways, oh my gosh, you're
well, how many years? How many years?
You own YouTube, I think.
No, I doubt it.
So how are you doing? Carol Ann Baldwin is here, and in case she didn't know, and she's going to talk about gardens. It's a full-hour show. It's a voluntary thing. You should have a wall full of trophies and awards acknowledging your contribution to this.
It's just it's
Good
my
morning,
pleasure.
Joe.
It's my pleasure. Actually,
hey,
I do
imagine! Look, you got a black vest and a blue shirt.
We both are black. No.
Oh, wait, a black vest, blue shirt.
Yeah. I can do it back because I don't care. So yeah, it's a. That's what you get, Chap.
So how you doing, Caroline?
I'm doing well. We had a great spring festival last week.
Did you? How did it go? Was it cold?
It was a little chilly in the mornings, but it really wasn't bad. It was really a very nice weekend for it. Sunday actually got a little bit warm. I think the vendors were happy with the fact that we had a little more shade for them, as well as the visitors that came through. I mean, it might have been a little chilly in the mornings being with that much shade that they had, but we can talk about it as the morning goes through. Anybody calling in, I have to find I did have a little bit of statistics on how many people came and visited. Even with the new venue, we still had a fantastic turnout, and
nice.
A lot of new people who actually commented that it was their first time coming in there. So it's always nice to have new people find your event, as well as those who come back, year after year, or possibly even bringing new people with them. So that's So hopefully some of these new people will then grab a friend or family member or neighbor or something that next year and bring them back. Right. So it's always a good thing.
Word of mouth. I was in a small box store, not a big box store,
but a small box store.
Small box. Like an old hardware store or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And I noticed they were selling pots with an advertisement on the box. I didn't open it up.
Okay.
That indicated those little flower pots had pre-planted seeds for like tomatoes.
Oh, right. Like a little pod kind of thing.
Not like the thing you and I did one time. But
No. But it's like it's already, if you peel the paper off and just put some water in, you're ready to go.
I think. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So those are pretty cool, especially with kids, because some of those seeds, if it's tomato seeds or pepper seeds, those seeds are tiny, unlike a bean seed or a pea or something like that, squash, where they're tiny. But this little pot, all you got to do is you take it home, you have your flower pot, or right into the garden. But it's for kids, it's nice to have it
something fun to watch.
Right there on the windowsill or on the front step of the house, where a nice sunny spot. But you can take and put it right into a flower pot full of soil, and just peel that top off and water it. The seeds in there, supposed to be planted. I think the seed's right in there. It might be in a little packet.
I'm not sure. I didn't open it. But you say kids, and but I'm thinking
grown-ups as well. Yeah.
Well, I like in the nursing home when when I did the activities, because they couldn't bend down, get down to the actual dirt.
Right, had it
having
raised
something
up.
that was up. Yeah, it was nice.
Oh yeah, and there's all kinds of different ways of bringing gardening right to your level, right to your either your skill level or whoever's skill level, to the height it needs to be, to anything. I mean, there's so many different gardening activities, whether or not it's vegetables, herbs, flowers, attracting butterflies and hummingbirds, other gardening for other wildlife, sensory gardens, which is more you're looking at your herbs and things like that with sense, texture, textures and tastes. Just all kinds of different ways to just bring it in close to you and reach anybody's
cool.
Level or what, I'm trying to think of the word I'm after, but it's not coming to me. The whatever the word is.
So do you know today's National Flower Garden Day?
Oh, is it National Flower Garden? Well, fantastic, and it's a good day for that.
On the Ag Report. And so what? So why would it be national? You would think that, I mean, right now there's a nor'easter in Maine.
Right, that they're being buried under another few feet of snow. I guess it's just that they picked that day. It's first day of spring is the 20th of March. You thought that they'd have put it. Yeah, and there's some plants, I guess, that will pop their heads up if the snow wasn't that deep, up out of the snow, ushering in that whole thought of here comes spring, here comes the flowers.
So do you have a flower garden, or are you pretty much a vegetable person?
I'm mostly a vegetable person when I plant, but I have plants. I love gardenias, so I do have 1, 2, 3. I think I only have 3 different gardenias. So there's 1 in the ground, 2 in the ground, 1 still in a pot. The one in the pot, I'm still trying to baby along. It was one of those off the bring me home and save me rack.
So let me ask you something. This is kind of a weird question, but if you were stuck indoors and you didn't know anything other than the date and where you were, and I said to you, I'm going to go outside and walk around. What flowers you think will be blooming? Could you tell me just based on the date?
Knowing where I am and
you're in
the
Ocala.
Time of year. Yeah, I'm in Ocala. I know that
on March 13th.
On March 13th, if they're just plants that would be in the landscape, you might have the last of your camellias blooming, your azaleas are blooming.
So it's predictable then, huh?
Yeah, everything. It's all seasonal. A lot of the people that come into my store are snowbirds, and so they want plants that are going to bloom sometime between September and March, April kind of thing. So a lot of folks want those winter bloomers. So, and that's or what we would call cool season annuals. They can get a little frustrated with perennials because many times perennials will die back in the winter, which they did seriously this past year. But then there's also plants that'll bloom nearly year round. You get some of your hybrid roses like the knockout roses and drift roses, some of the carpet roses. They'll pretty well bloom all year long. Some of your other perennials, except for when it's extremely cold, will continue to bloom all the way until they do get froze to the ground. Some others. Some of your, I just lost another plant there that I was going to throw in there. But, a lot of plants that just will keep going until we either get to excessive cold or just the opposite, excessive heat, where our winter annuals will just sort of piddle out as the temperatures, especially the nighttime temperatures, start to get too warm for them.
I have a question for you based on a political story this morning.
Uh-oh.
And I'm just curious if you maybe see a reason for this.
Okay.
The story is like local government officials, like city mayors and city councils and county commissioners, they're upset with our state lawmakers because they have they
superseded,
tried to micromanage the cities and the counties, and some of the things have nothing to do with you, but one does. They made some rules about what a city can and cannot do regarding trees.
Right.
So, I mean, can you see it from the state's perspective? Why would the state mandate that you don't plant certain trees, or that you do, or that you...
Some of it is Department of Transportation, what you can put on the road right-of-ways and down your medians, and that's for safety reasons.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Your visual being able to see either under the lowest branches, so it would be trees that would need to be able to be pruned up high enough that they could be seen across the road, or that do not grow any higher than certain heights. But other than that, I mean, to be able to tell them that you can't, plant, certain ones, specific trees, unless it has something to do with state properties. I don't see why they should be allowed to tell a city or municipality or a county what they can or cannot do within theirs. Again, unless it is on a roadway where Department of Transportation is actually, it's looking for a safety standpoint, or the thought of, trees that get very large, being too big for the area eventually and needing to come out, or something like say a palm tree that does drop fronds frequently, that they could become a hazard of something dropping out of a tree onto a roadway or possibly a sidewalk. Again, you're looking at a safety standpoint on that. Other than that, I don't see why, unless it was state properties, why they should be allowed to micromanage what a community is able to do.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm looking over here because I was looking for a story.
Trying to find the story?
No, not that one. But there was another one yesterday that the people who, I guess, sued the state because they cut down their canker-infected citrus trees, or...
Oh, from years back? Yeah, okay.
I guess they settled with them, and they're going to pay them money.
Right. That they were finally supposed to, supposed to pay something.
So we do have a phone call.
Great.
And by the way, let me just invite you to call if you want to be on the show. The number is 622-9622. We love hearing from you. Carol Ann does this for a full hour, so we got plenty of time to give long answers if it's necessary. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann and Larry. This is Lauren.
Yeah, good morning.
So I'm sure the Master Gardeners event was fabulous. I unfortunately didn't make it.
It was a really good turnout this year. Fantastic turnout.
Yeah, and the food wagons are always great too, right?
Oh yeah, food court's always good. Always good.
Yeah, absolutely. Regarding that, what you're talking about, probably shallow-rooted trees also, right? Like, sycamores and things that raise up the sidewalks and streets.
Right, and you think about the size of a sycamore, to put that on a, either the side of a road or down the middle of a road, that's a massive tree. And with very large leaves that, again, could possibly become a hazard in the road over time, as well as, like you say, raising concrete or possibly raising asphalt. But that's the only kind of thing I can see where the state would have a jurisdiction, or should be allowed jurisdiction over a city or county. But even then, that would be Department of Transportation through all of those areas. Marion County has a Department of Transportation, and so they work within conjunction, because we have state roads, county roads, city maintained roads, all within that. So it's those agencies should always be communicating and working with one another.
Right. Sure. I'm sure that identifies, certain trees, and how about highly invasive trees. It's too bad that just don't stick with that the native hardy, trees that need, as little pruning and things like that. You think they try to make their life easier,
Well, it's aesthetics. It's aesthetics as well within the, that they're looking for something that is going to have just a year-round attractiveness. But you also don't want, I hate to put it this, you don't want wildlife coming into your roadways. So you don't want to put trees or shrubs that's going to attract birds or other animals right there beside the road, because with their flying and activity, they may actually cause accidents. So you're not looking for trees that are going to be berry producing.
I'm not talking about highly berried trees,
right?
That they're attracted to, but just things that are hardier and that do well in the area, and are highly drought tolerant, or can
right. Well, I think that's what we do. So I'm not real sure where. I mean, I would have to go back and read that whole article to see. Well, and that's where News Bites comes in, gives us the opportunity to go back and read that whole article, not just go by the headline or the first paragraph. That kind of gives you an idea, gives you a tempting of that that story, to find out the full story within that headline or paragraph. So it's something I need to read a little further on, because we don't know. It might be that it's encouraging more natives or more, whatever, or it's say you can't have certain trees that are going to get over a certain height. And sometimes your native trees do. A lot of the native trees, there's some native trees that just are not long lived. A lot of times people, they want to do parking lots, and it's like, well, you're not allowed to cut down any of these trees. Well, once you have done all the construction and this, that, and the other thing, 5 years down the line, you're going to cut down all those trees and replant them because they will have died. And people don't get that. One example is actually the parking lot at the livestock pavilion. It was, a lot of that grass area and all of that. All of those trees, or not the ones that are there now, but the trees were left. They were required to have been left. While that went, and it was thinned, it was nice, here you go. 5 years afterwards, you were cutting trees down and replacing them because they did not survive creating that parking lot. So even though we hate to see parking lots or properties bulldozed off, those trees that are there, they could also possibly be sickly trees that they've been overcrowded for years and years, and so when we thin them out, they don't necessarily improve. We don't want to see it bulldozed, but sometimes that's the better way to go, is to start with new, healthy, fresh, living, healthy trees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So much to know, and there's so much knowledge in that brain of yours. So we're blessed that you're here to share it all with us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Thank
compliment.
you. Yeah, that was interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
So I did find the one about the canker.
Okay.
It's simple. Legislators included $52 million in the budget to pay homeowners who live in Broward and Palm Beach counties and whose healthy citrus trees were torn down in a failed attempt to eradicate citrus
canker. Right, that they remove trees out further than the area. And then if we all remember, they stopped cutting trees down for canker because they realized it was a futile effort.
Oh, really?
And that's part of the reason probably on this settlement. And that canker, though detrimental to fresh fruit sales, did not ruin the fruit usability in
really?
juice and other product. It just made the fruit ugly to where it wasn't going to be a fresh fruit sale. I think the trees did decline on their own, but I think the canker can actually be either controlled or mitigated, that you can kind of live with it. Unlike citrus greening, once citrus greening is diagnosed, the tree should be removed only for the sake that it sits there as a vectoring agent for the insect that's going to pass the disease to the next tree. It's not one of those things that it's, you can leave it sitting there and your fruit is unusable.
Yeah.
It's foul tasting and the tree is declining rather rapidly. Once it's diagnosed, you'll realize how quickly it begins to deteriorate.
Let me squeeze in a little break here. We went way long, and that was my fault. So let's take a tiny break. We'll be right back with Carol Ann. And your phone calls are always a part of the show. We love the fact that you call in. It's a full hour show, so we have another good 35 minutes left in the show. We'll take a tiny break and be right back. This is The Source, WOCA.
Embark on a magical night at the Appleton Museum of Art on Saturday, April 14th from 6 till 9 p.m. Follow your book of enchantment around the museum for unicorn carriage rides, magic shows, mermaids, artwork that comes to life, and more. Make mythical art in the art space and enjoy refreshments. Family ticket packages start at $35 for museum members and $50 for non-members. Individual tickets also are available. For details and to purchase tickets, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Now is the time to get that yard in shape for spring, and that means it's time to go see Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. This place is absolutely crammed full of fabulous deals for your yard or garden, starting with a huge selection of Gerber daisies. More colors than you've ever seen, now only $2.99. And camellias, Bob's got them. Many are budded and blooming right now. Prices starting at just $9.99 for Bob's own brand, Heirloom Camellias. Spring veggies, all you can imagine, still just $3.49 for the jumbo 4-pack. And Bob's famous dogwood azaleas are flying out the door for just $2.99. Visit their new and redone greenhouse for more bargains at 20% off. Special spring hours, daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Homegrown, locally owned. Same location since 1952.
All right, 26 minutes after 9 o'clock, 45 degrees, so kind of cool out there. Carol Ann Baldwin is here. Carol Ann?
Hey, yeah, coming back here into the break, we got, when I came in this morning, Robin had let me know we have, of course, our Bob Wine's gift certificate today, $20 worth of plant material from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery. Great time of year if you're still looking maybe for a camellia for the garden, because there are some that are still blooming, and so you can see what's there. Azaleas as well would be blooming over there, too, and I know that they're carrying them, and they've got some great products and some great sell items every week. So check out Bob Wine. So here at the bottom of the hour, we're going to give away the gift certificate for that. And then we also have 4 chances, all going to go to the same person, 4 chances to win a, where's the size of the picture? A 12 by 15 oil painting of Maximus the Tiger that is going to be given away during the Hot Cars and Cool Cats Spring Car Show.
Nice.
So if anybody's familiar with that, it's a fantastic car show. It's Saturday, April the 21st from 10 to 3 at Dave and Sue Nassavera's out on Highway 326. And of course, we'll probably talk about this more as that time comes up. But we have 4 tickets for the raffle for this painting of Maximus the Tiger. Happy birthday to Maximus. He's 2 years old now, and these raffle tickets are a $5 value each one. So whoever the caller is will get 4 entries, and we will need your name, phone number, and email if you have one. Because I guess you do not, I don't know if you need to be present. It'll be given away there. Probably don't necessarily need not be present to win. So.
Is that what it says?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. It
Well,
says need not be present to win. So that's why we need your contact information on that.
And I think the reason we're giving them away is so that the people know about them.
And to know, right.
And then
know
you can
better.
buy some if you want.
And you can buy some more, exactly.
The fund obviously goes to a good cause to ears.
Oh, to the right, earsinc.net. So you can always look up EARS, which is the Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary. There we go. Make sure I got all the letters right. Sorry, Sue, if I mess them up. But so to the random caller that comes in, they're going to get the 4 chances and the gift certificate to Bob White's.
All right, so the number is 622-9622. We will take your call during the break, which means you won't be on the air, which also means you won't know if somebody else won. So if we don't take your call, that means somebody else won.
Right.
But if we answer the phone, then congratulations, you get everything. All right, we'll take a little break. Be right back with Carol Ann. This is WOCA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. There are other investigations still going on, but President Trump's celebrating on Twitter as Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee say they're done looking into Russian election meddling.
Republican Congressman Mike Conaway says there is evidence Russia tried to interfere in the 2016 election, but
we could find no evidence of collusion.
The top Democrat on the committee, Adam Schiff, says the decision to end the probe marks a tragic milestone for the Congress.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. The British Prime Minister Theresa May wants answers from Russia by the end of the day about how a former Russian spy and his daughter were poisoned in southern England last week. They're in critical condition.
Either this was a direct act by the Russian state against our country, or the Russian government lost control of its potentially catastrophically damaging nerve agent.
The Russian government denies any involvement and says requests for samples of that nerve agent have been denied. Fox News. We report, you decide.
When hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to a short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why you need Indeed.com. Daryl is hired with Indeed.
Using the site saves me a lot of time. It makes my job so much easier.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive dashboard. Your time is precious. Let Indeed help you get to your short list of qualified candidates. Post a job at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's because Lowe's saves pros money every day. And this week, we're saving pros even more during our Pro Spring Black Friday event. Look for special savings on the tool brands you trust and the building supplies you need. Plus, save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Card. So, Pro, now that you know, let's get started. See the Lowe's Pro Desk for more details. Offer subject to credit approval. Can't be combined with other credit offers. Exclusions apply. U.S. only.
If you find an animal or a bird that needs help, call Animus Foundation at 352-843-6379. They will come and get the animal if you can't take it to them. High school students and those with court-ordered community service can earn required hours in this rewarding environment. And veterans who share a bond with animals and parents who have been through mental or physical trauma are especially welcomed. Families, clubs, and tourists can arrange for tours of Animus without driving for hours or miles. Consider volunteering. Animus needs you.
You know how frogs are so hoppy? It's because they don't smoke or have COPD, otherwise they would be flip-floppy. If you want to quit smoking to prevent yourself from croaking, come to A Better You for a good acupuncture poking. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, with A Better You Healthcare to stop smoking today at 352-615-5566. 352-615-5566.
St. Patrick's Day is the 17th, and Honey Baked Ham and Cafe has a special treat for all you lads and lassies. 'Tis typical Irish meal of corned beef, cabbage, and Irish potatoes from 11 till 2, Thursday and Friday, while supplies last. Honey Baked Ham, 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue in Ocala, just behind Best Buy. And while you're there, be sure to order your ham, turkey, or complete Easter feast. Whether for a small gathering or a large get-together, Honey Baked Ham and Cafe is your Easter dinner experts. Come on in or call 861-0011 to order. Here is your 1-minute news brief from the source. WOCA mayors and city and county officials in the state are railing against statewide rules crafted in Tallahassee that they say take away the ability of municipalities to govern their own jurisdictions. For example, one item allows short-term rentals despite local ordinances against them. Another regulates local community redevelopment agencies, and one even tells cities what they can do and cannot do with their trees. Florida Governor Rick Scott may have to resign early if he goes ahead with an anticipated run for the U.S. Senate. If Scott does have to resign early, it could have ramifications on the makeup of the Florida Supreme Court. A commercial truck carrying a piece of equipment damaged the underside of the I-75 overpass at US 27 yesterday. Ocala Breeder Sales March 2-year-olds in training sale begins today. And Disney World has announced the dates for the 23rd annual Epcot International Food and Wine Festival from August 30th to November 12th. That is your news brief from the source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be a cool Tuesday despite sunshine, highs in the mid to upper 60s, and clear and quite chilly Tuesday night, mid to upper 30s in some inland spots, upper 40s along the coast. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine and remaining cool, high 66 to 70. Thursday, mostly sunny, the high 68 to 72. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Thank you, Joe Lundberg. 45 degrees right now. Kind of cool out there, Caroline.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit chilly. I said the other day to somebody, I says, I really think Mother Nature and Jack Frost got in a spat, and he's just being mean.
You know what they're trying to do?
She just hasn't apologized.
They're trying to make you take back that three thunderstorm
things. But this is still officially seasonal weather. The 80 degrees was not.
No, exactly.
And we're just, this slightly below seasonal, I think, for March. But again, the highs are supposed to be low 70s, with lows in the 40s this time of year, not where we were. So we're a little below, but not bad.
So you have a phone call?
Fantastic.
We invite calls, by the way. The number is 352-622-9622. Good morning. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Morning, Sonny.
My community borders on near I-75, Northwest 44th Avenue.
Right.
When I first came here and decided to move here to this development, we had 44th Avenue was 2 lanes.
Right.
And believe it or not, like from 28th Street on north to 326, it used to be a canopied road.
Right.
The trees just made that giant canopy, and it was really gorgeous. And you could turn from 27 on to 44th and go up ways, and you could actually feel a difference in the temperature.
Oh, sure.
And it was really gorgeous. So the county, in its infinite wisdom, decided to widen 44th Avenue, and of course the canopy disappeared.
Sure.
There's only a small portion of it existing from about Northwest 63rd Street up to 326.
Right.
And from what I see and how I see it rather, is that they didn't need to widen it. I don't see that much traffic on it even now.
I'm not part of the planning committee on the county, things like that. But that's, like you say, that to their infinite wisdom, they're looking forward versus at what's going, what has gone on in the past.
Well, the only big thing that several businesses went out of business that were along Northwest 44th Avenue, and now we have the remnant of I-75 flea market, and that, I don't know what else is there, but they put an island down there which restricted people from making left turns into businesses that were on the southern end of 44th Avenue, and to me it was just one business killer, aesthetics, the whole 9 yards of northern Florida.
Well, that's planning and zoning. That's not garden and landscape necessarily.
Oh, I know that. But what I'm trying to say is that maybe we should have had some of these laws maybe 20 years ago.
I don't know if that would have stopped anything on that. It's hard to say. Like I said, I haven't read the whole article on what it entails on that, on what restrictions, etc. would be. But that has something to do with planning and zoning, not necessarily on what can or cannot be planted or that. So it's that's on growth and growth management.
It's not just the 44th. It's what was it? Shady Road they massacred.
It's growth management. Yeah. Well, there's a couple of them that I kind of wish that you're going. Okay, it's a scenic road, but the amount of traffic on that road is insane. That you can't turn out of your side streets or driveways because of it, because of the development that's 5 to 7 miles away from it. It's still considered a scenic road, but it might take you 10 minutes to get out of your driveway to leave your home or to enter
this isn't related to gardening or anything, but still, it's these grand old oak trees that went, and I guess you could say, well, they did us a favor because the trees are getting older, and the next thing a limb or something or a tree could have fallen on a car.
Right, and during our hurricane seasons, how many of them have been damaged and things like that, and all of that. It all there's pros and cons on both ends of it. Property owners on the sides of the roads, were they, before the roads were widened, were they maintaining any of those trees, or were they up to the county or road department to maintain? And we all know that part doesn't necessarily happen unless it's more reactionary. Oh, look, 4 or 5 limbs just came out of this tree, landed on the road, blocked traffic, or caused an accident, like you say, or hit a car, and then it's, okay, we need to cut this tree down, and then we go through and we butcher them, and that's not healthy for the trees either.
Well, the one thing I do know and learn from listening to your program and everything is that they can go around and you can test the trees, because a lot of these trees rot from the inside out.
Exactly.
They look perfectly fine, and all of a sudden a big limb comes crashing down, or they keel over, or whatever.
Right.
The other thing that really boggles my mind, living in Marion County, and it's still, gets me every once in a while, is the fact that the roads have like 4 or 5 names for every road in this county.
Well, and that comes from way back.
27, Blitchton Boulevard, Bonnie Heath Boulevard,
Well, it depends on where you're at. If you're in the city or the county, yeah. Well, it depends on if you're in the city or the county portion of that road, and from roads being named prior to changing over to numbered streets, and sometimes it's a state road portion, and then like Highway 441 in Ocala is Highway 441 27301, but it's also locally known as Pine Street. So it's just, but they're all, that happens everywhere. That happens everywhere.
Well, anyway, I really enjoy the programming, and I have learned a lot. Also forgotten a lot.
Don't we all? We bring in the new and push out some old.
I'm enjoying the cool weather, but it is really unusual compared to last year.
Sure.
Anyway, like I said, enjoy the programming, and thank you very much for taking your time and being on the air. And thank you, WOCA, for putting Carol Ann on. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for being a listener and being there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey,
have a good
day, everybody.
You too.
Let's go. We have another caller coming in. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Morning, guys.
Hey.
Morning.
Say that 30 degrees Sunday morning. I don't know. My lawn was looking so good. Now I'm back to January again.
It'll be right back up with that. I don't think it stayed cold enough. I mean, there's a little bit of frost, but once you start watering or getting a little rain, it'll be right back up.
I would have bet money that we wouldn't have had another frost, but I guess we're going to have one tonight and tomorrow night. And I know the rest of the week looks kind of cool. And towards the weekend, I guess it's going to warm up.
Sure. And I think the frosts are kind of patchy in areas. I haven't seen, where I'm at is fairly wooded, so the frost doesn't hit the ground. So one of those kind of things. I mean, it's going to be a bit chilly. I actually haven't brought my little potted plants back in the house. One night I did. Last night I left tomato plants out. They're fine. I've got a couple of actual house plants that are sitting outside. They're fine. It's pocketed. I think moreover that frost or those temperatures are dropping down there and doing that bounce. They're hitting that bottom at about dawn. Kind of thing. And then as that sun starts to come up, it's warming up rather quickly. So it's one of those quick bounce and come back up. And, highs today are upper 60s, I think, mid to upper 60s for us, somewhere between noon and like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So again, it'll, with the days being a little longer, we've got the sun out a little bit longer, warming that up.
Yeah, well, like the Sunday morning low is 30 on my thermometer, and that's getting into the hard freeze category.
Hard freeze is below 28 degrees for more than 6 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I know we had it looked like a Wisconsin snowstorm here. I mean, it was white everywhere.
Right. Well, you're out there a little bit, and that's some of those areas. Again, it's pocketed. Saw a friend posted on Facebook today. He had some frost on his car, and he's actually further south than us. So it depends on where you're at, whether or not you got a breeze blowing or anything, whether or not that frost will settle.
Yeah. See, real quickly, the other day I've been enjoying the local strawberries and all the fruit comes in this time of year, and I bought a pineapple. And the wife was watching me slice it up and I cut the top off, and she says, why don't you go bury it in the backyard of the grow? Is that true?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, sure.
Well,
a lot of people
have you're going to get another pineapple?
You get a pineapple. It'll take about 2 years, but yes, you can get another pineapple off of it.
2 years.
It takes about 18 months to 2 years. Yeah, it takes, for us here in Central Florida. In the tropical areas, I think they can do that in about a year, 9 months to a year, same way with like papaya and things. But yes, pineapple will grow here. I probably just myself would put it in a large pot so that in our winters, you could bring it in.
Yeah.
And that way you're not worried about freezing it off in the wintertime if we get a bad winter like this past winter. But yeah, once you hit about a year with it, the plant, keep it going, try to feed it real good, get a nice big plant, and I would even say next spring would be to see if you can force it into pineappling by covering it with a paper bag or setting that pot, covering it with an apple tucked in there to get that ethylene gas going and force that thing to go ahead and put on pineapple.
Well, that really sounds interesting. I'm going to give it a try and see what happens.
I know a lot of people who grow a lot of pineapples around,
Really?
just for a hobby and for their own fun.
I'll be surprised. I never heard of that before, and I thought you was kind of pulling my leg a little bit. You know, cut the top of the pineapple off and run out in the backyard and plant it, and you'll have a pineapple.
Yeah.
I said, come on, give me a break.
Sure will. You sure will. Give it a shot.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's one of those fun things.
And we have another call. Good morning. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I heard you say that you had the papaya.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I was watching some videos on that. I've been spraying it with the copper fungicide for the anthracnose and the black spot on the leaves. But on the video it says that was toxic, and they're doing something different with sulfur.
Probably using sulfur instead of the copper for it. I've never seen a real big issue with spot. I mean, we've got them growing papaya over at the extension office and have for years, but his have never had an issue with any disease like that. It's not been a big issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if the problem's not there, there's no need to spray. If you begin to see leaf spot or anything like that, that's when you would start to worry about treating.
Yeah, I always have a problem with the anthracnose.
Do you?
With the sunken spots on the fruit.
On the fruit itself. Make sure you've got enough air circulation going around, that you're watering from the ground level. I know we can't do anything about rain. And it might even be the issue that you might need to move your area. It might be that the soil is it's there, and you're not going to, you will be battling it constantly.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we have another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Hey, it's Lauren again.
Yeah.
Just wondering, Carolyn, growing, now it's rapeseed, the rapeseed plant, and then when you buy it in the store, how it was renamed canola oil because it's from Canada,
right?
And the whole negative thing about having something with the word rape in it. But does that grow locally? Is that something that can be grown locally?
I'm not sure. I don't know of anybody who grows it. I believe it would be something for us that would have to be grown during the cooler months, though. I don't know if it would handle our summers. You figure as a Canadian plant that their springs and their spring and summer months are going to be cooler. I'm not sure the rainfall. I'm not sure the rainfall quantities up there that they get. I believe most of their moisture happens in the winter months in the form of snow, where our moisture comes in the summer in the form of rain. So what their rainfalls are in the spring and summer months for them during their growing seasons. So I'm going to have a feeling it's not going to be real successful here, except more as a winter crop. Where we're more dry and we're cool.
Yes, because I was able to find that there's it does grow in certain areas in North Carolina.
Right.
I think the the overall majority of it comes from Canada, and that's why it's the canola oil.
Right.
An interesting, very interesting situation with that plant, and converting it into the use of fuel.
Well, any oil, it just becomes a biodiesel is what it is. Pretty much any, a lot of different plants can become a biodiesel. It's just any, sunflower oils, soybean oils can all become part of that. Corn oil, all that is. It's all just a biodiesel. It's not something you're necessarily going to put in your car manufactured in your back garage kind of thing.
Okay, it's a beautiful plant though. Beautiful yellow flowers, very cheery.
Right. Well, hey, give it a try. I mean, if you can find get some seed out of a catalog and give it a shot. Like I said, I would suggest in the cooler months.
Right. Or one of those little microclimates in your yard somewhere where it just stays cooler naturally. But I guess it's good to keep it in a pot.
Right. Yeah, and it might be something that you could actually grow in a sunny place inside, where your air conditioning would keep it at a reliable temperature that's a little more on the cooler side and not near as humid, and you can control the water.
Yeah, that sounds like a heck of a lot of work, Carolyn. So I'll let someone else do that little project.
There you go. There you go.
All right, thanks, and bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, gang.
Good morning.
Carol Ann, in past years, even someone with a black thumb like me has been able to grow radishes.
Right.
But this year, they came up real nice in stems, had these nice big green leaves. They looked real healthy, but absolutely no radish whatsoever.
No radish. It might have been, if you had planted them, if they were growing last month, it was probably got too warm too quick for them. You might get away with trying to get some in, because it takes about 25 to 30 days to get radishes, and so you need the fertilization to be there, but not a super high nitrogen fertilizer, because you're going after the root. So, trying to do something, you got to watch the fertilization. Sometimes we get way too much top leafy growth and nothing on the bottom of them, and the temperatures. And I think this year, with the February being as warm as it was, I think some of them just put tops on.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah. So I mean, you might be able to try and see with how cool it is right now. I don't know how quickly we're going to warm up after that. Give it a shot again now and see if you can, because you got to get them to grow on quick, is what it is. So good, good soil and a good start on them, and nice spacing on them, and see if you can't get them again.
All right, I'll try again. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Gosh.
Yeah, I had a few nice ones earlier on in the season, but I want to say it was like in January when they were on. I think I was done picking them out in February, and then because it got warm, I skipped putting any more in.
We are up against the break. Let's take that little break, and we'll be right back. Phone calls are always appreciated. If you want to call in, the number is 622-9622. We will be right back.
Embark on a magical night at the Appleton Museum of Art on Saturday, April 14th from 6 till 9 p.m. Follow your book of enchantment around the museum for unicorn carriage rides, magic shows, mermaids, artwork that comes to life, and more. Make mythical art in the art space and enjoy refreshments. Family ticket packages start at $35 for museum members and $50 for non-members. Individual tickets also are available. For details and to purchase tickets, visit appletonmuseum.org.
It's tree planting time, and no doubt about it, the place for trees is Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala, where you can still buy one tree, any tree, large or small, and get a second one just like it, half price. Smaller trees, huge selection, 5 to 7 feet, just $59, and get one just like it for half price. It's azalea sale time, too. Bob has dogwood azaleas, still just $2.99. Ever-blooming red ruffles, just $3.99, and plenty of larger sizes are available. Huge selection of roses, too, including drift roses, knockouts, and they're all blooming like crazy, starting at just $24.99. Inside their big greenhouse, practically everything's discounted, including those wind chimes, 20% off. Where's Bob Wine's? Southeast 38th Street, away from the traffic, and they're open daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, homegrown, locally owned, in the same blooming place since 1952.
All right, thank you. My gosh, the time has flown today, Carolyn.
It sure has.
Oh,
Lots of great callers today.
Goodness. On that Bob Wine's ad, Bob Houck is the voice on there. He's talking about the wind chimes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Robin has a wind chime that plays the notes for God Bless America, I think?
Oh, wow.
But I don't hear it that way. When I hear it, I hear the song Strawberry Letter 22. When the wind blows, I hear Strawberry Letter 22. Do you remember that song?
No, I don't.
How come nobody remembers this song?
You're a music buff, so that's probably why.
No, I don't. Really? I thought that was a popular song at one time.
I don't know. Might be my age level, too. It's a little...
Yeah, that's it.
No,
that's it, yeah.
I do got, just because we are real short on time, just a couple of those things that mark your calendar kind of thing, is the Master Gardener Spring Plant Sale. This is the one where it's just Master Gardener grown things or things that we've grown up from, possible starts from outside sources, is Saturday, May the 12th from 8 to noon. There'll be fruit trees, ornamental trees, shade trees, shrubs, native plants, herbs and perennials, pollinators, hummingbird plants, butterfly plants, available for sale. Also, the rain barrels and Melaleuca mulch, micro irrigation supplies, the garden publications, and Master Gardeners are available for consultation. Admission is free on this event because we're hoping you'll be shopping for our plants on this one. Again, no pets. It's just a courtesy. We don't want your pets to be hurt or anyone to be hurt by stumbling over them. It is at the Extension office area, actually the propagation area right behind the Extension offices. But Saturday, May the 12th from 8 to noon, and we'll talk about it more as it gets closer. But also upcoming is, and these are all these spring kind of things. You've got our satellite plant clinics in Bellevue, that are in Bellevue and Dunellen, and I think we have the Forest Library. We have Petunia goes out to the farmers market downtown on the square. So you got a different place, all kinds of different places to get some information or get questions answered. But coming up on Wednesday, the 21st of March, it's Wild Horticulture Series, Plants for Pollinators. So if you're looking to plant a garden bed or anything for butterflies, native bees, hummingbirds, beetles, a whole lot of other things. They're all different pollinators for them. This will be at the On Top of the World Education Center, the Master of the Possibilities Education Center at On Top of the World. But you can call over to the Extension office, which is 671-8400 for more information on that. But they have some fantastic workshops that go on over there, and they are open to the public. Another one coming up is the Mushroom Production Workshop, which will be over at the Extension Auditorium. Extension Auditorium. It is $65 per person. That one you need to register online at Eventbrite. So it's mushproduction.eventbrite.com. The HTTP. S. I'm surprised there's an S in it. Never used to have an S in it, did it?
Yeah, it means it's secure. It's a secure site.
Secure site. Okay, with the colon / obviously. But if you go through Eventbrite, eventbrite.com with the mush production, we got a caller?
We do, and it's a very, very short one because we've got less than... Good morning, you're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yes. Okay, Laura.
Real quick.
I bought 3 Vitex at Baldwin's nursery years ago. Planted them. They have stunning purple flowers. I'm just covered every year. It looks like a lilac. And you will get little buzz bombers that you have never seen in your life. So if you want buzz bombers, pollinators coming to your yard, just plant one of these babies, and you will just have stunning, stunning plants and enjoyment. So
there you go. Thank you.
Nice.
What a final call for the day. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn, for doing this.
Again, another fast hour.
I know it's an effort for you, but it's a joy for us. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks.
All right. We will be right back. This is the Source WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Rex Tillerson is out as Secretary of State. President Trump announces he'll be replaced by CIA Director Mike Pompeo on